All right, we're back, continuing to read the Mahaparinirvana Sutra, and we are at the bottom of page 76. O good man, it is as in the case of a strong man who does not give ear to what others say. The same is the case with one who learns Mahayana. He hears the teachings of the various sutras of deep thought. He has joy and is not afraid. Why? Because one such who abides in Mahayana has in the past made innumerable offerings to innumerable millions and billions of Buddhas and worshipped them, and he has no mind that fears Maras who might be as numerable as billions and thousands, and who may come and attack that person. He is not afraid. O good man, for example, a man possesses Agasti and does not fear any poisonous snakes. Through this drug, poison loses all its power. The same with this Mahayana Sutra. Just as in the case of the drug, no person will fear any maras or poisons. It thoroughly crushes the enemy, who can never stand up again. Also, next, O good man, for example, there is a Naga, who by nature is very evil-minded. When it desires to harm people, it approaches with the eye, or cheats with the breath. Hence the lion, tiger, leopard, jackal, wolf, and dog all fear it. When all these evil animals hear its voice, see its form, or touch its body, there is not one that does not lose its life. But there is one who knows a good spell, which enables all such evil and poisonous ones as Nagas, Garudas, elephants, lions, leopards, and wolves to be tamed, so that one can well ride on them. These creatures, as they encounter this marvelous spell, become tamed. It is thus with the Sravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas. Seeing Marapapiyas, they all become frightened. And Maripapiyas do not feel afraid and does evil. Oh, wait, hold on, sorry. Seeing Marapapiyas, they all become frightened. And so Maripapiyas does not feel afraid and does evil. The same is the case with those who practice Mahayana. They see that all Sravakas are afraid of evil acts and do not have faith in this Mahayana. First, expedients are restored to, as a result of which all Maras are conquered, so that they become tame and can now stand as vehicles to carry things in. Through this, they variously teach wonderful doctrines. Seeing the Maras are afraid, the Sravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas become wonder-struck and gain faith and joy in the wonderful Dharma of this unsurpassed Mahayana. They say, from now on, we must not cause obstruction to the wonderful Dharma. Also, next, O good man, the Sravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas entertain fear regarding all illusions. Those who study Mahayana have no such fears. By practicing Mahayana, one gains such power. As a result, all that was said above is for Sravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, to do away with Maras, and not for Mahayana itself. This all-wonderful Mahayana Sutra cannot easily be made away with. All is extremely wonderful. One who hears it and knows that the Tathagata is eternal is very rare. Such a person is like the Udambara. There may appear people who after my death listen to the teachings of such a wonderful Mahayana Sutra and gain faith. Know that such people will not fall into the unfortunate realms in the ages of the future for 100,000 billion kalpas to come.
Then the Buddha said to Bodhisattva Kasyapa, O good man, after my entering nirvana, there may be 100,000 innumerable people who will slander and not believe in this all-wonderful, great Nirvana Sutra. Bodhisattva Kasyapa said to the Buddha, O world-honored one, sooner or later, people will slander this sutra. O world-honored one, what good and pure people will come and save such as those who commit slander? The Buddha said to Kasyapa, O good man, for 40 years after my entering nirvana, this sutra will flourish in Jambudvipa. Then it will disappear. O good man, in a land, for example, where one can get sugarcane, rice, rock candy, butter, cream, and sarpirmanda, people will say, this is the best of the most tasty. Or there may be people who may be living on maize and panic grass and who may say that what they eat is best of all food. Such are people of poor fortune due to their karmic results. The ears of the fortunate will never hear of millet or barnyard grass. What they will eat will be rice, bran, sugarcane, rock candy, and sarpirmanda. It is the same with this wonderful Sutra of Great Nirvana. Those born dull-minded and unfortunate will not wish to listen, just like those dull and little fortunate people who hate rice, bran, and rock candy. It is thus with the two vehicles. The people of which will hate this unsurpassed Nirvana Sutra. There are people who are gladdened on hearing this sutra and who, having heard it, feel pleased and do not slander it. This is like those of good fortune who eat rice bran. O good man, for example, there is a king who lives in the depths of the mountains, located in a precipitous place, difficult of approach. He has sugarcane, rice bran, and rock candy, but since these are difficult to obtain, he begrudges and stores them away and does not eat them. Fearing that they may run out, he only eats millet and barnyard grass. Then the king of a different land, hearing of this and feeling pity, sends rice bran and sugarcane to him. The king receives these and divides them amongst the people of his land, who all eat them. Having eaten them, they are all gladdened and say, because of that king, we have now been blessed with this food. O good man, it is the same with the four kinds of people. They become the generals of this great teaching. One of the four kinds of people sees that countless bodhisattvas of other countries study, copy, or have others copy Mahayana sutras of this kind for gain, fame, understanding, reliance, for trading for other sutras, but that they do not speak of it to others. Hence, he takes this all-wonderful sutra over there and gives it to the bodhisattvas, so that they might aspire to unsurpassed bodhicitta and rest peacefully in enlightenment. A bodhisattva, on obtaining this sutra, speaks of it to others, who through it become blessed with the amarta of the Mahayana teaching. All of this is what has been brought forth by this single bodhisattva. He enables others to hear what they have not heard before. This is like the people who, through the power of that king, enjoy rare dishes. The case is similar.
Also, O good man, wherever this all-wonderful great Nirvana Sutra goes, that place, you may know, is indestructible. The people living there are also alike adamantine. Any person who hears this sutra will attain unsurpassed enlightenment and never draw back from it. Such persons will gain whatever they wish to have. O you bhikshus, uphold well what I say to you today. Any persons who do not hear this sutra are, you should know, much to be pitied. Why so? Because such cannot uphold the deep meaning of such Mahayana sutra as this.
Kasyapa said to the Buddha, O world honored one, it is the case that after the Tathagata's decease, this Mahayana great Nirvana Sutra will flourish in Jambudvipa for a period of 40 years, and that after that it will disappear. When and how will it come back again? The Buddha said, O good man, for a period of 80 years after the ending of the age of wonderful Dharma, and during the 40 years preceding it, this sutra will greatly flourish in Jambudvipa.
Kasyapa further said to the Buddha, O world-honored one, when the age of wonderful Dharma has ended, and when the correct observance of the precepts no longer prevails, when unlawful teachings prevail, when there is no longer any person to be found who takes the right path, who might be the ones who will give good ear to the teaching, uphold and recite it, and cause this sutra to circulate in the world, so that people make offerings, respect, copy, and expound such a sutra. Please have pity on beings, O Tathagata, and analyze and expound this widely, so that all bodhisattvas may hear Dharma, uphold it, and never pull back from the unsurpassed bodhicitta.
Then the Buddha praised Kasyapa and said, well said, O good man, you now put such a question. O good man, if beings at the river Hiranyavati, at the seat of the Tathagata, aspire to enlightenment, they will, in this evil world, uphold a sutra such as this and not slander it. O good man, there may be beings at the seats of all Tathagatas, as many as the sands of the Ganges, who aspire to enlightenment and do not slander Dharma in the evil world, but love this sutra, are not yet able to analyze and expound it to others. O good man, there may be beings at the seats of all Buddhas, as numerous as the sands of 2 Ganges, who aspire to enlightenment, do not slander Dharma in this evil world, rightly understand it, have faith, are gladdened, uphold and recite it, are not able, for the sake of the world, to expound and speak about it to others. Or there may be beings who, at the seats of all Tathagatas, as numerous as the sands of 3 Ganges, aspire to enlightenment, slander Dharma in this evil world, uphold, recite, and copy the sutra and expound it to others, are not able to gain the depths of its meaning. Or there may be beings who, at the seats of all Tathagatas, as numerous as the sands of 4 Ganges, aspire to enlightenment, and in the evil world do not slander, but uphold, recite, and copy the sutra, and expound 1/16th part of its meaning, yet not perfect. Or there may be beings who, at the seats of all Tathagatas, as numerous as the sands of 5 Ganges, aspire to enlightenment, do not slander in this evil world, but uphold, recite, and copy the sutra, and speak about 8/16ths of it. Or there may be beings who, at the seats of all Tathagatas, as numerous as the sands of 6 Ganges, aspire to enlightenment, and in the evil world do not slander this Dharma, but uphold, recite, and copy the sutra, and expound 12/16ths of it to others. Or there may be beings at the seats of all Tathagatas, as numerous as the sands of 7 Ganges, who in the evil world do not slander the Dharma, but uphold, recite, and copy the sutra, and speak about 14/16ths of it. Or there may be beings who, at the seats of all Tathagatas, as numerous as the sands of 8 Ganges, aspire to enlightenment, And in this evil world, do not slander, but uphold, recite, and copy this sutra, and also cause others to copy it. They themselves listening well to what is said in the sutra, and making others listen well too, reciting and protecting, strongly upholding, and, as they pity all beings, making offerings to the sutra, urging others also to make offerings, to honor, respect, recite, and worship it, and thus perfectly understand and penetrate its meaning. That is to say, that the Tathagata is eternal and unchanging, that he is the utmost peace itself, and that all beings have the Buddha nature. They will attain all the teachings of the Tathagata, make offerings to all such Buddhas, and build up a house of unsurpassed wonderful Dharma. Uphold and protect it. If a person for the first time aspires to unsurpassed enlightenment, know that such a person will assuredly, in the days to come, well build up the house of wonderful Dharma, uphold and protect it. This you should know of the persons who become the guardians of Dharma. Why? Because such persons will, in the days to come, surely protect wonderful Dharma.
O good man, there may be an evil-minded bhikshu who, on hearing that I am now going to enter nirvana, may not feel any apprehension or sadness, but instead will say, the Tathagata is now entering parinirvana. How pleasing it is that he does so. When the Tathagata was alive, he stood in the way of our prophet. He is now entering nirvana. Who else will get in our way? If nobody hinders, I shall come to profit as in former days. While in life, the Tathagata was too strict regarding the prohibitions. When he now enters nirvana, we shall discard all of these. The kasaya given to me was originally simply meant as a matter of form. I will now discard it as I would a banner the size of a head. Such a person slanders this Mahayana Sutra and transgresses.
O good man, you now should uphold and think, if beings are perfect in innumerable virtues, they will indeed believe in this Mahayana Sutra, and, having faith in it, will uphold it. There may also be other beings apart from these who may feel joy in Dharma, and if the sutra is widely expounded to such persons, they will, after listening to it, well make away with all the sins amassed during past innumerable asamkhayas of kalpas. Those who do not believe in the sutra will, in this life, get attacked by innumerable illnesses and will be spoken ill of by all people. After, they will be disparaged by others. They will look ill and their finances will not go well. Or they may gain a little, but that will be very coarse and of bad quality. They will be poor and of low social rank all their life long. They may gain life in families where slandering and evil relations obtain. The time comes when one must depart this life, when it may be the age of wars, or when people may be taking up arms, or when emperors and kings may be practicing tyranny, or enmity and vengeance may incessantly visit one. There may be a good friend, but they will not have occasion to meet him. It will be hard for them to earn their living. They may gain to some extent, but the apprehension of hunger will bear down upon them. They will only be known to people of low standing, and kings and ministers will not look back. They may have occasion to talk with reason, but nobody will believe them. Such people do not go to good places. It is like a bird whose wings are broken. The same with such a person. In the life to come, he will not be able to gain a good place in this world of man or heaven. If one well believes in such a Mahayana sutra as this, the rough and coarse form that one may have had at birth will come to look right and correct by virtue of the power of the sutra. Dignity and color will increase day by day, and man and God will be pleased to look at him. They will respect and love him, and not a moment will be lost in their regard of him. Kings, ministers, and family people will listen to, respect, and believe him. If any of my Sravaka disciples are desirous of doing the first rare thing, they should preach such a Mahayana Sutra to all the world. O good man, frost and mist may strongly desire to remain as they are, but this is only up until the time of the sunrise. Once the sun is out, all goes away and nothing remains behind. O good man, the evil acts done by these people also amount to the same. The power in the present life only continues up to seeing the rise of the sun of great nirvana. When the sun of this great nirvana has risen, all the evils that have been done will die out. Also, next, O good man, for example, one might abandon one's home, shave one's head, put on the Kasya robe, and might not yet receive the 10 precepts of a Pramana. Or a rich person might come and invite all the priests, and those who have not received the precepts may get invited along with the others. They may not have received the precepts as yet, and yet may still be counted as priests. O good man, it is like this with a person who first aspires to enlightenment, studies this Mahayana Great Nirvana Sutra, keeps, copies, and recites it. He may not yet have attained the level of the 10 stages, and yet he will be counted as being one of those of the 10 stages. If a person, whether a disciple or not, out of greed or fear or for profit, hear just one gatha of this sutra and, having heard it, does not slander it, know that this person is already close to unsurpassed enlightenment. O good man, for this reason I say that the 4 persons will become the refuges of the world. Thus I say, O good man, that such persons will never say that what the Buddha said is not what he said. Nothing of the kind occurs. That is why I say that such 4 kinds of people become the refuges of the world. O good man, make offerings to these 4 kinds of people. O world honored one, how am I to know who such are, and how am I to make offerings? The Buddha said to Kasyapa, anyone who upholds and protects wonderful Dharma should be invited. One should abandon one's life and make offerings. This is, as I say in my Mahayana Sutra. To any person versed in Dharma, no matter whether young or old, offerings should be made. One should respect and worship him, as the Brahmin worships fire. To anyone versed in Dharma, young or old, offerings should be made. Such a person should be respected and worshipped, as all devas serve chakra.
Bodhisattva Kasyapa said to the Buddha, things must proceed as you, the Buddha, say, and we should pay respect to teachers and elders. I have a doubt, which you will kindly dispel for me. If there is an aged person who has long been upholding the precepts and who asks a young person to tell him what he has not heard before, does this person have to be given respect? If so, this cannot be an upholding of the precepts. Or there may be a young person who has been upholding the precepts and who may ask about what he has not heard from a person who has broken the precepts. Has one to pay respect to such person? Or a world-fleeing person might give ear to what a layman says regarding things he has not heard before. Should one pay respect to such a person? The obverse. The obverse of this would be that the world-fleeing person should not pay respect to the layman, but the young and small should pay respect to the aged, because these aged persons have received the upasampada earlier and their deportment is accomplished. Hence, one should pay them respect and make them offerings. According to the Buddha, violation of the precepts is not permitted in the house of the Buddha. It is as in the case of a paddy field grown over with panic grass. Also, just as the Buddha says, there is one who abides in Dharma, to whom offerings must be made, whether that person is old or young, in such a way as to serve chakra. How can these two cases be understood? Now, could it not be that those were false words of the Tathagata, which stated that even the precept observing person may well transgress? Why does the Tathagata say such a thing? Also, the world-honored one says in other sutras that violation of the precepts can certainly be cured. It is not easy to understand the meaning of such like.
The Buddha said to Kassapa, O good man, I speak thus in the Gatha for the sake of those bodhisattvas of the days to come who will study Mahayana. I do not do so for the sake of Shravakas. As I said above, when the days of wonderful Dharma come to an end, and when the right precepts are violated, when violation of the precepts increases in extent, and when evil deeds go unchecked, when are hidden and not one is to be met with, when bhikshus accept or keep impure things and servants, there will appear one of these four who will shave his head and practice the way. All the bhikshus will receive and keep impure things and servants, knowing no difference between the pure and impure, rules and non-rules. This person, intending to teach such bhikshus, softens the light and does not get mixed up with the evil, and well knows what needs to be done and what the Buddha does. He sees others committing grave offenses, yet he sits silent and does not take part. Why not? Because I appear in the world to establish and protect the right teaching. That is why I sit silently and do not reproach. O good man, such a person, though violating, is not classed as one who violates the rules of a disciple because of his protecting of the teacher.
O good man, a king dies from an illness, for example, and his son, the crown prince, is still young and not yet able to ascend the throne. There is a Kandala who is rich and whose wealth is inestimable. He has many relatives. In the end, using force, he takes advantage of the weak condition of the state and usurps the throne. Before long, the people, upasakas, Brahmins, and others revolt and flee to far distant countries. There are people who do not flee, but who do not wish to see the king, such as the rich and the Brahmins who will not leave their native land, just like the trees which grow where they find themselves and where they die. The Kandala king sees the subjects leaving the country, sends Kandala men to block all the roads. Also, after 7 days, he has men beat drums and proclaim to all the Brahmins, to any person who performs the ceremony of Seka, half of the land will be given. They hear this, but no Brahmin comes forward. All say, how could a Brahmin do such a thing? The Khandala king further says, if no Brahmin comes to be my teacher, I shall assuredly make the Brahmins live, eat, sleep, and work together with the Khandalas. If any Brahmin comes and sprinkles water on my head, I will give him half my land. As it is said, so it shall be done. Also, all wonderful Amrita, that thing of Prayastrimsa, heaven, which works all the miracles of deathlessness, will also be given to such a man. At that time, there was a son of a Brahmin, one very young. He was perfect in pure action, wore his hair long, and was well versed in incantations. He went to the king and said, "O great king, what you, king, say will be carried out by me." The king was pleased and let this boy perform the Abhiseka. All the Brahmins heard about this and were vexed. They reproached the boy, saying, "You, the son of a Brahmin, how could you perform this Abhiseka on a Khandala?" Then the king gave the boy half his kingdom, and together they reigned over the kingdom. A long time passed. Then the Brahmin boy said to the king, "I rejected my family tradition and came to you to become your teacher, and I taught you, king, all the intricate contents of incantation. And yet you do not befriend me." Then the king answered, "In what way do I not befriend you?" The Brahmin said to the boy, "I have not yet tasted the Amrita which the late king left in your hands." The king said, "Well said, O my great teacher. I did not know. If you desire to use it, please take this to your home." Then the Brahmin boy and the king's word took the Amrita home and invited all the ministers and partook of it. All the ministers, having had it, said to the king, "It is wonderful that the great teacher has the Amrita." On hearing this, the king said to his teacher, "How is it, O great teacher, that you taste the Amrita with all the ministers and yet do not show any of it to me?" Then the Brahmin boy gave the king a poisonous potion. On taking the poison, the king became mad and fell to the ground. He lay there unconscious, like a dead man. Then the Brahmin boy called back the previous king, restored him to the throne, and said, "The lion's seat cannot by law be occupied by any Khandala. I have not yet heard since of old that a Khandala ever sat on the royal throne. It can never be that a Khandala could reign over the state and govern the people. O great king, you should now succeed the former king and govern the state righteously and lawfully." Having thus disposed of things, he gave an antidote potion to the Khandala and let him awaken. After he had awoken, he was driven out of the country. Now this boy, acting as he did not lose the prestige of the Brahmins, and others, on hearing of what happened, praised his deed and said that this was the thing unheard of. They said, well done, you have indeed got rid of the Khandala king. It is the same with me, O good man. After my entry into nirvana, the bodhisattva who guard wonderful dharma will also act thus. Using expedient means, they will behave just like those priests who transgress against the precepts, who are priests only in name, and who receive and store up impure things. And when they see a person who, though violating the precepts, nevertheless cures those evil bhikkhus who are transgressing against the prohibitions, they will go to him, respect and worship him, and do all such things as offer the four things, and sutras and utensils. If these things are not ready at hand, they should devise means and go to Dhanapatis, beg from them, and then give. To do this, they may store up the 8 impure things. Why? Because this can mend the evil acting bhikkhus. This is as in the case of the boy who conquered the Khandala. Then the Bodhisattva may again respect and worship this person. Though the person may also receive and store up the 8 things, this can well pass by with impunity. Why? Because the Bodhisattva desires to reject and cure all wicked bhikkhus, and to enable the pure-hearted bhikkhus to live in peace, and to enable the Vaibhuya Mahayana Sutras to prevail in the world and benefit heaven and earth. Oh, good man, that is why I put the 2 gathas in the sutra, and had all bodhisattvas praise those who protect Dharma. This is similar to the Upasakas and Brahmins who all praised the boy, saying, "Well done, well done." The same will also apply to the Dharma-protecting bodhisattvas. Should anyone see a Dharma-protecting person working with the precept-breaking persons and say that that person is committing a sin, know that the person is himself inviting misfortune upon his own self, and that the person who protects Dharma has no connections with sin. O good man, if any bhiksu breaks the precepts and out of arrogance does not repent, such is really a breach of the prohibitions. A bodhisattva who, while committing a violation, does so to protect Dharma is not called one who commits a violation. Why not? Because he has no arrogance, but confesses and repents. That is why I repeat in the sutra and say in the Gatha, if there is a person who knows Dharma, whether that person is old or young, such a one should be revered, respected, and worshipped, just as in the case of the Brahmins who paid worship to fire and serve Shakra, one of the second heaven. On account of this, not for those wishing to learn the Sravaka teaching, but for bodhisattvas, I do speak thus in the Gatha.
Bodhisattva Kasyapa said to the Buddha, O world-honored one, if it is the case that the Bodhisattva Mahasattva may thus act without restraint as regards the precepts, can the Shila originally received remain intact and genuine? The Buddha said, O good man, do not speak thus. Why not? The Shila first received remains intact and is not forfeited. If one transgresses, one repents. Having repented, one is pure. O good man, when a bank is old and has holes in it, water inevitably leaks out. Why? Because nobody has had it repaired. When it's repaired, water cannot leak out. It is the same with the Bodhisattva. When Shila is violated, there follows Posadha, receiving Shila, and the hours of freedom come. The monastic duties are carried out, but the Vinaya rules are not as in the case of the bank with holes in it, through which water leaks out. Why not? If there is no one who upholds Shila, the size of the Sangha will decrease, and there will come about moral laxity and indolence, which will grow. If there are those who are pure in their deeds and who observe the precepts, the original Shila remains perfect and holds good. O good man, a person who is loose in the vehicle is loose, and a person who is loose regarding the precepts is not loose. The Bodhisattva Mahasattva is not loose regarding the teachings of this Mahayana. This is the observance of the precepts. He guards well wonderful Dharma and bathes himself in the waters of Mahayana. Thus, through the Bodhisattva, though the Bodhisattva violates the precepts, he is not loose as regards the precepts.
So this is really cool. So one, this is the Buddha saying that anyone can practice, regardless of your previous experience, your previous transgressions, sins, whatever you've done, you can practice. Two, that it's not right to point fingers at other practitioners and say you're not upholding the practice or the precepts, because if that person is using expedient means for somebody else or for themselves, one, you'll never know if that's what they're doing. So you can't make that assumption and make that kind of statement. And also that the Mahayana vehicle comes before the precepts. So the practice of Supreme Bodhi is the priority over the upholding of the precepts. And that's really cool because they go hand in hand. I mean, if you uphold the Mahayana, if you practice Supreme Bodhi, then naturally the precepts will also come into place. Teiko, I see your hand is up.
Could you highlight that and maybe we could put that in our orders file?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, who is loose in the vehicle is loose. A person who is loose regarding the precepts is not loose. Yeah.
You might want the previous paragraph too.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you. Good idea. Oh, and then maybe the one after too. Bodhisattva Kasyapa said to the Buddha, "There are 4 kinds of people in the Sangha. It is as with the mango, where it is difficult to know when it is ripe. How can we know the difference between a violation and a non-violation of the precepts?" The Buddha said, "O good man, basing oneself on the all-wonderful Great Nirvana Sutra, it is easy to know. How can one know by looking into the Great Nirvana Sutra? As an example, a farmer plants rice and weeds out the tares in the paddy field. One looks at the field with the fleshly eye and says that it is a fine field. But when harvesting comes around, we now see that the tares and rice are different. Thus, 8 things indeed defile the priest. We now see that the tares and rice are different. If thoroughly done away with, we see that he is pure. When a person observes the precepts and does not violate them, this is hard to distinguish with the fleshly eye. If evil arises, this is easy to see. It is as in the case of the tares in the paddy field, which can easily be seen. The same is with the bhikkhu. If he is able to make away with the 8 impure poisonous serpents, we call him pure and a holy field of wheel. He will be made offerings by man and God. It is not easy to see the karma result of pure deeds clearly with the fleshly eye. So upon when harvesting comes around, that analogy is kind of the whole point of teaching is what I see it as. It's like if you can take this practice and teach someone this practice, that is that is the harvesting. It's the being able to knowing it so well that you can teach it to somebody else. And yeah, and actually practicing, because if you don't practice, it will be difficult to teach or inconsistently taught. So it's kind of a test of the teaching. Go ahead.
You might consider it like this. One might be to share, and the other one is for one's self. That's why it's not easy to see.
To share, can you give some context? I'm not following.
Well, when you talked about teaching, that would be the sharing part. But then when it's not easy to see, that would be for oneself. I don't know how else to explain.
The
it.
not easy to see part is in relation to pure.
Yeah,
purity.
the observation of the precepts. Because no one would know except yourself. So it would be for yourself. Whereas the other would be to share, such as in teaching.
True.
And that it's hard to tell them apart. It's hard to tell them apart because in some cases you think that when you share, you should be sharing what you give to yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
But that the two are distinctly different. Because you may not be able to skillfully share what it is that you observe for yourself.
True. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm just having a hard time understanding. I think I'm following you, but it seems.
Well, how does it seem obscure? How does it seem difficult?
Are you likening? So I'm maybe okay. I'm trying to compare what you're saying back to what we just read.
Well, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, maybe my comparison. Maybe I shouldn't be comparing it. Are you saying that sharing or teaching is the harvesting? So you would be able to see whether or not someone is truly practicing because of their
Right.
sharing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it wouldn't be a matter of judging whether they're truly practicing because that would be the unseen part of it. The part that is for oneself.
Well, yeah, that's where I'm confused. So this paragraph is about how do you know the difference between someone who's like, how can we know the difference between a violation and a non-violation of the precepts? So violation was in respect to the harvesting. It's easy to see whether or not that's a violation or not a violation.
Right, but you had read in the prior paragraph though that it would be difficult to see.
Yeah, it is not easy
And
to see the karma results of pure deeds clearly with the fleshly eye.
Right. And then also that you mentioned too that the precepts were not to be put up against another practitioner and used to berate them.
Right.
So I mean this idea of the precepts being something that is personal, which is reflected by what Open Gate upheld, something personal that you work on within yourself versus that which you share, which is outwardly apparent.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, sorry, it didn't click with me right away. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, no, I'm not sure that I'm interpreting it correctly either. So don't jump to the conclusion that I know something you don't.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, that's my input. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I could also liken harvesting to like when we're faced with difficulty, right? When we're faced with difficulty, do we struggle? Do we struggle with old habits, or are we able to overcome that? And that's not necessarily a reflection of whether or not you're precept violation, because it could just be something that you haven't encountered before. But the idea is, if you're practicing correctly, that over time those challenges should become easier until they are no longer challenges.
Right, right. So my thinking though is that depends on how it's used. I mean, if you're using it to share it,
Ah, right.
then there's opportunity to ask, for help and assistance
True.
when you're sharing. But when you're using it for yourself, it's not an act of community. It's more an act of just self-observation.
Mhm.
Yeah, true. Like our Donna Parmita Sangha sharing stuff.
Yeah, because there's the practice, which is, sorry, I just stood up.
No, that's okay.
There's the practice that is purely internal until there's something to share.
Right.
So the harvest is what you share because it comes from, planting and tending.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the fruits of the labors.
Right.
Anyway, that's my input there. Thanks.
And I take this less of a direction of let's pick apart people in our Sangha and more of a this is a good way to think about when you're teaching. How do I tell if this is a violation of the precepts? How do I help this person, right? Like the Buddha was talking about expedience.
Well, you wouldn't make it based on whether you can tell they violated the precepts or not, because again, that would be for them to decide, not for
No,
us to decide.
No, you wouldn't. But I'm saying I think that this is a better, not so much a use for let's pick apart our Sangha, but more of a use for if you're a teacher and you're talking to your student, and I'm taking this as like guidance for a teacher.
Oh, I'm not sure how that would. Yeah, it's kind of guidance. And the way I see it is the guidance for everyone, not necessarily just teachers.
Oh yeah, for sure. But if we're talking about assessing the Sangha, which is where this started, which was there are four types of people in the Sangha. How do we know the difference?
Okay, yeah, I lost the beginning of it. Yeah, okay. No, you're right. So you have better overview of that than I do. So
Oh
proceed.
yeah.
Yeah, proceed.
But that's how I would take it. It's like, yeah, not to try to isolate or categorize people, but more of a, how can I not really with the not really with the expectation of a result, but like practicing our expedience with the continuation of Dharma, right?
Right.
Continuing to
Indeed.
teach.
Yeah. Our experience to teach or just experience to practice? Because I see it as both.
Expedient. Well, I mean, it can be both. Yeah. I mean, teaching naturally is also practicing because you encounter a lot of things that you need to overcome with practice.
Right.
But again, it's more about the expedience part. How do I? What am I looking for as a teacher, and what's the most expedient way to teach the Dharma?
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Somehow I'm missing that part of it. So proceed. I'm gonna mute. Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. Also next, O good man, there was a forest of Kalaka. The trees were numerous, among which there was one called Hinduka. The fruits of the Kalaka and Tinduka look alike, and it is difficult to distinguish them from one another. When the fruit was ripe, a woman picked it all. Only one part was Tinduka, 10 parts being Kalaka. The woman, not knowing, took these to the market and spread them out for sale and sold them. Dull-minded people and children, not knowing things well, bought the Kalaka, ate it, and died. A learned person heard about this and asked the woman, "Oh, woman, where did you get this from?" At that, the woman pointed out the direction. Everybody said, "In that direction, there are innumerable Kalaka trees. Only one is Tinduka." All the people learning of this laughed, cast away the fruit, and went away. The case is thus.
O good man, it is the same with the 8 impure things regarding beings. Amongst people, there are many who take 8 such things. Only one is pure. He who observes the precepts and does not take the 8 impure things. He knows well that all people receive and store up things contrary to the precepts, and yet he acts together and does not leave them. He is like the one Tinduka amongst all the trees in the forest. There is an Upasaka who sees bhikshus all transgressing, so he does not pay respect or make offerings along with. If this person does desire to offer something, he first asks, "O great ones, is it right to receive and store up 8 such things? Are these things which the Buddha has permitted or not?" If the answer is that the Buddha has permitted them, he will ask, "Can you attend the Kosadha and Pravarana?" Thus does this Upasaka ask. At this, all answer, "The Tathagata pities and permits us 8 such things." Then the Upasaka says, "In Jetavana, there were many bhikshus who said that the Buddha had permitted the possession of gold and silver, or that he did not. If any bhiksu said that the Buddha had permitted, those persons in the not permitted camp did not live together, did not talk about the precepts or confess, or drink the water of the same river, and did not share with those others what brought in profit. How can you say that the Buddha gave permission? The Buddha, the God of all gods, may well receive such, but you, the Sangha, may not. If there are those who receive such, do not talk about the precepts, or confess, or do karman, but act as the Sangha should act. If one talks together about Shilak, confesses or does karma, and thus participates in the works of the Sangha, one will, after death, assuredly fall into hell. This is like all those who lost their life through eating the kalaka."
Also next, O good man, for example, there is in the city a drug merchant. He has a wonderfully sweet medicine which comes from the Himalayas. He also sells many other drugs. All of them taste sweet and look alike. People very much desire to buy, but cannot distinguish. They go to the druggist and ask, "Do you sell the drug from the Himalayas?" The druggist says, "Yes." A man picks up a drug which is not the one from the Himalayas. The merchant cheats the customer and says to him, "This is the sweet drug that I have from the Himalayas." But the buyer is unable to tell the difference. He buys it and takes it back home thinking, "I have got the drug from the Himalayas." The situation is like that.
O Kasyapa, among the Sravaka priests, there are those who are priests in name only, and there are the true ones, or those who stick together in harmony. Also, those who observe the precepts and those who violate them. All will be made offerings, will be respected and worshipped, but this Upasaka cannot. just by looking, make out which is which. This is like the situation of the man who could not see whether the drug he had was from the Himalayas. Who are the ones who observe, and who are those who violate the precepts? Who is a true priest, and who a priest in name only? One with the heavenly eye can well see this. O Kasyapa, if this Upasaka knows that a person is one who transgresses, he will not give him anything, bow or worship him. If he knows that a person receives and stores the 8 impure things, he will not give what he has, not worship or make offerings. Any who violate the precepts should not be respected or worshipped just because of the Kasaya robe which he wears.
I think this is a good place to stop. All right. Before Kasyapa has a chance to ask another question. All right.